Hi, it's Stephen.
And it's Tilde.
And welcome to the Audio Mill.
Yeah, we've had a busy week.
And we're fully in winter. We've had Storm Ashley. It's been hitting Scotland.
Yeah.
It's been kind of crazy.
Absolutely. And it's, getting time for some woolly jumpers.
It is, which is really good. We've been doing loads of knitting. I've been doing lots of knitting. But we're going to focus on your projects and what's new in the shop.
Yeah.
And it feels like a kind of Rowan, WYS and Tildes Spinners season. Well, not season, but week anyway.
Yeah, it's been busy on that front, I think.
And on you go.
Yeah, so what I was really excited about was to get this new yarn Fable in.
So we live in Eaglesham, and it's spelled Eaglesham, but in Scots it's Eaglesham, and it's a tiny village outside Glasgow, and it's quite high up in the moors, and there's lots of superstition around here. It's really quite interesting, and it's a very old village. Goes back to, there probably was a village here way back 13th, 14th century, but it became a recognised village in the 16th century. And then was rebuilt in the 18th century. And so I was really interested in this wool called Fable, and then this book, the accompanying WYS and Tildes book, Folklore, which is kind of obviously a bit of a gimmick, a marketing gimmick. There are no fables and no folklore. However, it's a nice vibe.
Yes.
And you're wearing...
I'm wearing one of the design, yeah.
So I think also what's good about this is there's this Colourwork.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about Colourwork this week. And I've been knitting my Rastus cowl, my Miller cowl, Rastus, and he's doing a bit of colour work. You've been making your own colour work.
Yeah.
So let's look at the Fable range. So the Fable's interesting. It's all really muted tones.
Yes, it's all kind of natural kind of tones, these ones.
Autumnal.
Yeah.
And it's a brushed Aran weight.
Yes.
So it's got a kind of haze around it, which you might see in the camera. And it's
So that's the mohair in the yarn. So you can see here that it's Falkland Island wool with British alpaca and British mohair.
It's almost fully British.
It's all WYS and Tildes Spinners yarns are fully British.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
That is their big selling point, that they won't do a yarn if it's not British.
Politics point. In the Falklands, you may well know. If you're in the US, you won't know, or you might not know. The Falkland Islands are off the coast of Argentina, which is not near Britain at all, but they are owned by Britain. And in fact, we nearly went to war over it. In fact, we did go to war over it in the 80s, which is kind of terrible because they're so far away. But however, they're considered a part of Britain. There is lots of British people on the Falklands, and the Falkland wool is becoming really popular.
Yeah, it's a very luxurious wool, so it's beautiful.
It is a lovely wool, and these colours. This is a lovely green, I have to say.
Yeah.
Which you might not be able to see that in the camera.
WYS and Tildes Spinners is using a lot of Falkland Island wool.
Yeah.
Not only in this one, but in other yarns as well.
And you can see brushed Aran weight, which obviously would be great for your Aran jumper, making the front cover is an Aran jumper.
Yeah.
Lots of cabling and colour work in this, which I noticed. So it's really... I think they're quite interesting projects, and it's nice to see kind of some intricate projects. The cabling here would be a good challenge. You can't really see that.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of different cables.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice, that one. I think also with this one here, it's actually Debbie Bliss. A lot of people probably know Debbie Bliss, and she's teamed up with Chloe Elizabeth Birch, if you can see down there. So those are the two designers.
And then we've been talking a lot about... It's also a nice book because it's got this ring bound thing. It's very cool. And yeah, I like the projects.
That is actually very practical for knitting books, because when you can then kind of fold it over so you can follow your pattern better instead of having to kind of flatten the pages down.
Yeah. Clear and well laid out, I think.
Yeah.
A nice space, a nice kind of coffee table book. Again, colour work and cabling. I'm always quite excited when I see interesting projects that are kind of quite tasteful. That's a lovely one. And I'm trying to find a chart actually, because these charts are what interest me. And of course, even just some simple mock rib is also a great project.
Yeah, they're very stylish, these ones.
So I've not been successful in finding a chart. Ah, right. So this is what I'm talking about. This chart, these charting are interesting, and I think that we wanted to do a lesson in how charts work. And you've got a lovely. This is your jumper.
That is mine.
The one
yeah.
you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now you've been working on your own project,
Yeah.
which is this hat,
Yeah.
and you've called it the houndstooth.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not this, but you in your pattern you're going to be charting out this two-way colours,
Yes.
which is really quite interesting. So this chart, this hat's something you've created. Can you tell me about it?
Well, I was sitting making another item, which was my cowl.
So this is not Worcestershire Spinners.
No, this is Rowan.
Okay, so tell me about this hat. You're making it in what?
So I'm making it in this chunky wool, but but the contrast colour is in the fine tweed haze.
So these are both new Rowan to us.
Yeah.
The mode Rowan we've talked about in our last video, and this is a really lovely soft 100% wool, chunky.
Yeah, it was much nicer to knit with than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So the reason I made this up and I used this was actually because I had some leftover yarn in that colour, and I thought I'm not going to do a full hat in the fine tweed haze because it didn't have the elasticity I needed for the base of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided to knit the base of it in the chunky wool, which I know has the elasticity I want, and then just to use this for the colour work. But I'm stranding this triple, so I'm using 3 strands of the fine tweed haze.
When you're using 3 strands to get this colour work to match the chunky thickness.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
But I also really wanted to use something like this because I wanted the colour work to be a bit fluffy looking, and I do like the tweedy effect that it has as well, that it's not like completely solid.
Okay, so let's, at the risk of jumping around but coming back to this,
Yeah.
the reason this all started is because you were doing this fine tweed haze, which we got in as new as well, and you had these different colours. We've got in the round tweed haze, which comes in these kind of lovely colours, quite sharp, quite bright colours.
Yeah.
And it's got a great set of patterns that go with it.
So,
Okay, so this is a digital download.
yep.
We had the PDF printout hard copy, but we're now going to sell it. We're now selling the digital downloads, which will be on our site shortly.
Yep.
By the time you watch this, it'll be on the site.
So the picture you see there is actually a different colourway of the cowl I was making.
So show me the cowl you're making.
The cowl I made was this one here.
So it's basically that cowl.
Well, I'm trying to... So it's this one here, but in the slightly brighter colour. You can see here.
So there's quite a lot of activity here. This is colour work, and these are mainly rows and slip stitches. And
Yeah, so the colour work is actually done by slip stitches. So you're only working with one colour at a time, so you're knitting in rows, which makes this colour work really easy to do for kind of, maybe adventurous beginners.
It's a nice shape as well. You've kind of sewn it together so you can wear it as a cowl.
It is
obviously.
a cowl, yeah.
And what's interesting was you knitted this up quite quickly,
Yeah,
and then you had leftover yarn.
yeah,
So you then took the Rowan chunky, but in the dark charcoal,
yeah.
and you added the
Yeah.
strands of the colour of the tweed haze.
Yeah, so again, this is 3 strands, and when I'm changing colour, I'm making sure that I'm only changing 1 strand at a time. So you'll see that sometimes you have a blue and a green together. You've got your blue and your pink together. If you can.
Yep.
So I'm trying to see here. If you can see there's a blue and green. Again, your pinks and blues together, and pinks and greens. And I decided to go kind of green, blue, pink, green, blue, pink. So it was kind of very organised, but you could also do it completely random.
It's very organised. No, but it is. So this 3 strands of round tweed haze. I mean, this
Yeah.
tweed haze is super soft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite amazing. What is it?
It's alpaca that you can feel.
Alpaca, super fine alpaca and extra fine merino.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many balls would this take?
So that takes 4 balls, 1 of each colour, and you have quite a lot left over.
Well, you let some left over, and with
Yeah.
the leftover made this. But then this is 1 ball of super chunky,
Yeah.
which is your 100% wool.
Yeah, and also because I didn't feel that the brown that's in here would stand out against this dark colour, so that was why I used that in
So
here.
I could have knitted this with the chunky cream colour and a chunky brown,
Yeah, you could use the same yarn.
but you wanted to use this tweed
wanted-
haze
Yeah.
to give it a bit of a halo and a bit of a standout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works really well. It's great. And we're going to have these patterns up as well, and maybe a video on it, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to make a course in the stranded colourwork, and what's really good is that you can then do it in chunky, so it works out
It's
really
easy, yeah.
It makes it easy.
So we did say it was a bit of a West Yorkshire Spinners week, and everyone's doing these individual patterns. So petite knit, and I mean everyone's always done individual patterns. I think what I mean is now more considered ranges. That you've got
yeah.
this range, petite knit, do it round, mode it round, and then West Yorkshire Spinners. There are others, but these are really nice printed out. Let's go to the main camera. So everyone's doing these kind of booklets, and the West Yorkshire Spinners one is really nice. It's a really good quality card, and there are a whole range of them. Of course, we've got them all,
Yeah.
and they are
So these ones are for the Croft, which is the Shetland wool.
okay, which we've got here.
Yeah. So
It comes in these. Is that a skein? We talked about this before, didn't we?
this is actually a hank. So
Hank.
for example, these ones here is the one for the Astrid.
All right, that's quite nice. That's interesting.
It's a really nice
Let's
combination.
go
Yeah.
overhead camera then to see that. So this is what you're saying. This is the Astrid.
Yeah.
That's a really nice. Is
It's
that quite difficult?
It does. When I kind of look at it, it doesn't look particularly difficult. You will actually have a wee kind of in the pattern. Oh well, it does say that
is
it's
difficult.
It's difficult.
I think
clearly.
you don't think anything's difficult because you've been knitting so long. But yeah, I
Yeah.
could tell it was difficult because you've got colour work, you've got cabling. Sorry, you've got colour work, you've got cabling, you've got shaping. So you've got everything.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, okay, it was a bit more difficult.
But I do like these printouts. They're not just
Yeah.
printouts; these are actual published booklets, and they're a really nice feel. They're quite good quality card, good quality clear instructions. I think.
Yeah, and
British
they are
Yorkshire
very
Spinners
much,
have done
and yeah, you
a
get
good
your.
job here.
They're really, really. I was actually speaking to West Yorkshire Spinners about this today, and they're saying they're really working really hard to get all the patterns into the same format, so people really know what they're getting when
Yeah,
they're
you
getting
need that
it.
rhythm of
Yeah.
what am I looking for. I
Yeah.
found that when I was knitting my first ever cable colour pattern, you
Yeah.
get confused about what you're jumping around the pattern all the time because you're finding the detail of the cable and then going back to the main pattern.
Yeah.
So these are really cool. Tell us about the wool.
So this is a Shetland wool. These ones happens to be the double knit, but they also come in an iron weight. So another one that's really interesting that people really love is this one here, the Jamie, which is a bit of colour work. And this one doesn't have a chart. And let's just see it's a 2. So this one is so that would be your kind of just after beginner, really easy kind of intermediate.
Sorry, what is it? It's a stitch, pip, stitch, hat, cowl and wrist warmers.
Yeah.
And you've got the colours there. You've
Yeah, I got the colours here, and that is the 2 colours they're using. But my favourite colour combo would be this one. These ones here.
Yeah, that works too, doesn't it? That's quite
Yeah,
good.
I really love this. I absolutely love that colourway.
But if you were using,
yeah.
so I mean, are these what kind of price point are these expensive?
So these ones are $9.95
Oh, for what? How many?
for 100 gram So
Oh,
that's
pretty
actually
good.
it's pretty good, yeah.
And it's under 100% Shetland.
Yeah.
A little bit of a bite, but quite perfect for cowls and scarves and hats and stuff.
Yeah, but they do get softer with wear, and they're really tough. This yarn is really kind of it lasts and
Yeah.
keeps its shape really well.
Yeah, as a
So-
beginner knitter, I'm a bit of a convert to really nice quality wool because it's forgiving. And
Yeah.
it bounces back to the shape.
Yeah,
It holds its shape better.
and I've been knitting in this, and it's absolutely beautiful to knit with.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Short and sweet, quite serious, no
Yeah.
jokes. But yeah, I think we're just kind of getting into our projects now.
Yeah,
And I think wanting to people to know about. I'm particularly excited about a lot of different projects that are coming up. So, yeah,
I think you're just a little bit frustrated it takes so long to knit.
yeah. If you have watched our stuff before, and I know we're kind of sometimes disjointed, but you might have expected me to do my Miller cowl, and I'm making really good progress on it.
Yeah, you are.
And I've laid it out on our coffee table, and I've got a kind of protective cover over it so the cat can't get to it.
Yeah.
But it's taken so long. So I've got my 3 balls of wool laid out.
It actually looks a little bit like a museum.
It's a museum piece, yeah, 'cause it's got
Yeah.
an acrylic cover over the top. But it's taking me ages. It takes me, I mean, I'm doing 6 rows in 90 minutes or something like that. Not even. Because
Yeah.
there's a cable row, a knit row, then a slip stitch row, then a cable row again.
Yeah, but you're becoming much faster though.
Yeah.
You are really speeding up. So
So we thought, but next week we would do, the next video, I'll try and really push and finish the cowl.
yeah, that would be lovely.
And I think what's interesting is about knitting, I've found is finishing it is, I'm not as good if I have stop, start, pick up. I think what I want to do is try and get a whole day of just sitting and trying to do a marathon.
No, not a good idea.
Well, I'll test that theory. Thank you.
Do you know why it's not particularly a good idea?
Tell me.
Because of repetitive strain injury.
Well, I'll move and do
Well,
some shaking it off.
Do some hand exercises.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well,
Please
thank you.
comment, give us a shout, Facebook, Messenger, all these things. Bye.